She left 3 kids on my porch like a bag of old clothes. No warning. No note. Just knocked once, drove off, and disappeared. That was 12 years ago. I'm 48 now, run a small auto shop in Indiana, and never had kids of my own. Didn't plan on it, honestly. But life doesn't really care what you plan. I raised them. Ethan was 13, Lena 10, and Jason barely 8. They were scared, quiet, polite in that heartbreaking way kids get when they know they're being a burden. I didn't know what I was doing. I just fed them, made sure homework got done, and kept the fridge full. They grew up into good people despite everything. They never asked for more than I could give. A week ago, they handed me an envelope. Inside was a check. Not huge, but enough to mean something. It was from all 3 of them with a note. For everything you gave us. Thank you, Dad. I still keep that note in my glove box. And now, out of nowhere, my sister, their biological mother, wants the money. After 12 years of silence. Not a single birthday, not one call, no child support, not even a damn postcard. Now she says I owe her because those are her kids. She's been posting lies about me online, calling me controlling, saying I poison them against her. At first I tried to ignore it, but something in me cracked when I saw her comment under Lena's graduation photo. So proud of my beautiful daughter. Raised her right. No, she didn't. And maybe it's time I stopped pretending this doesn't hurt. The first few months after she left were a blur of boxed mac and cheese, late-night grocery runs, and pretending I knew how to braid hair. I told myself it was temporary, that she was coming back. I even kept a bag by the door with the kid stuff, just in case she called and wanted them returned. That bag stayed there for 2 years before I finally unpacked it. People at work didn't ask much. My boss gave me a little leeway on hours once he figured out what was going on. One of the guys brought over an old Xbox for Ethan, said it was collecting dust. Lena got into drawing, she'd tape sketches all over the fridge, and Jason just wanted someone to watch cartoons with. I wasn't perfect, but I showed up. Every damn day. The hardest part wasn't the money. It was the silence. No calls from her. No explanations. Nothing. I remember once Lena asked if she did something wrong to make her mom leave. She was 11. I had to pull over the truck and sit there with the hazard lights blinking while she cried. I didn't have answers. Still don't. Sometimes I'd stare at their school forms where it asked for mother's name, and I'd just leave it blank. At church, people would look at us with pity. You're doing God's work, they'd say. I didn't want to do God's work. I just didn't want those kids to grow up thinking they were unwanted. I had a girlfriend back then, sort of Kelly. She tried to be supportive, but it wasn't what she signed up for. After 6 months of canceled plans and bedtime routines, she faded out. I didn't blame her. I wasn't the man she fell for anymore. I was Uncle Mark with spit up on his shirt and a minivan full of soccer gear. And still, I held on to the idea that maybe one day Jessica would show up, explain everything, and take them back. That day never came. The first crack in the illusion didn't come with a phone call. It came with a Facebook comment. It was Lena's graduation day, high school, not college. I remember it because she wore these ridiculous glitter heels that made her walk like a baby deer. I told her to bring flats. She didn't. She regretted it halfway through the ceremony and made Jason carry her the rest of the way to the car. We laughed so hard I cried. I posted the photos that night. Just a few, her with the diploma, one with me and the boys, one where she's making a face at the camera like she always did when she was little. It was just another proud dad moment, even if I never technically earned the title. A few hours later, I got a notification. Jessica tagged herself in your photo. I stared at the screen for a long time. I hadn't seen her name pop up in years. My stomach went cold. I clicked and there it was, her comment right under Lena's photo. So proud of my baby girl. Can't believe how fast they grow up. Raised her right, red heart. Raised her right. She hadn't been in Lena's life since she was 10. Didn't help with homework. Didn't teach her how to shave her legs. Didn't hold her hand after her first breakup. Didn't show up when she broke her arm, when she got her period, when she got accepted into art school. That was all me. And Ethan. And Jason. And even Lena, raising herself when we were too tired or broke to do better. I didn't respond. Just deleted the comment. Then she messaged me directly, like nothing happened. Hey, I think it's time we talk. I want to see them.
No apology. No explanation.
Just, I want. Like they were toys she left in storage. I didn't answer. I didn't know how to. The kids saw the comment too. Ethan didn't say anything. He just screenshotted it and sent it to me with a period. Jason muttered, "What the hell?" and went back to his game. Lena? She laughed. A short, cold laugh I'd never heard from her before. Then she asked, "Do I have to let her back in just because she's my mom?" I told her the truth.
No.
You don't. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just some long-lost relative reappearing. This was a stranger, trying to rewrite the story. Our story. The one we built out of takeout dinners, scraped knees, and late-night car rides when someone had a nightmare. And I started to feel it in a way I hadn't before. The resentment, the disbelief, the quiet, bone-deep anger. Because it turns out, even when you expect nothing from someone, it still hurts when they show up and try to claim what they never earned. For a while, I tried to pretend it didn't bother me, that she was just blowing smoke, fishing for attention, and it would pass like everything else she used to mess up and walk away from. I muted her, told myself that was enough. Told myself I didn't care what she posted or said because we knew the truth. The kids knew the truth. But that wasn't entirely honest. Because even when you block someone, their poison finds a way through. It started with the cousins. Second cousin Amanda sent me a weird message. "Hey, I know you probably have your reasons, but don't you think the kids should at least hear her out?" I stared at that message for an hour. Then Uncle Dave, who never lifted a finger when she left, commented under a photo of Jason's birthday, "Nice to see their real mom finally back in the picture." Real mom? Where was she when Jason had night terrors for 3 years? When Ethan got suspended for fighting because someone called his mom a whore in middle school? When Lena couldn't afford sketchbooks and started drawing on printer paper? She wasn't real. Not in any way that mattered. Still, I started questioning myself. That's the worst part of people like her. They don't need to scream. Just a few suggestions, a few doubts dropped in the water, and your reflection starts to ripple. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I should have told the kids more about her. Maybe I should have let her back in, under strict conditions. Supervised. Gradual. I started drafting a message. I even wrote out, "We can meet in a public place," but I never hit send. Because the next day, she posted a photo of the kids. An old one from when they were little, before she left. Captioned it, "Still my babies. No matter what lies you've been told." That broke something in me. Not just the manipulation. The sheer audacity. To claim them now, after all the years of silence. After she vanished and left me to figure it out with 3 traumatized kids and no manual. I asked Ethan how he felt about it all. He said, "I stopped thinking of her as my mom a long time ago." But me? I still couldn't stop thinking about her. Not because I missed her, but because I hated that she still had the power to make me feel like I stole something I was begged to protect. It wasn't just one post. It became a pattern. She started reshaping the story online like she was writing fanfiction, except the villain was me. She made a new Facebook account just for it. Added a bunch of people from back home, especially ones who hadn't seen her in years and didn't know what really happened. Every other post was about parental alienation, how she was robbed of motherhood, and how her brother stole her children during a mental health crisis. A mental health crisis? Is that what we're calling skipping town with some guy and never coming back? She even posted a blurry picture of my house, said she wasn't allowed to visit, and that her babies were being held hostage. That one got shared by 2 of our cousins. I got a message from an old friend asking me if I was okay and if there was any legal trouble. The worst part? People believed her. Or at least pretended they might, which honestly felt just as bad. I'd walk into the diner and feel eyes on me. Not the usual nods or, "Hey, Mark." Just quiet. Like maybe I had done something wrong. Maybe I was keeping something from those kids. Lena stopped using social media entirely. She said every time she posted anything, her mom would comment or DM her friends. Jason blocked her 3 times, and somehow she kept making new accounts. Ethan? He acted like he didn't care, but I caught him one night outside in the garage, just sitting in the dark. I didn't ask what was wrong. I knew. Then came the message that made everything snap. "You took everything from me. That money belongs to me. You manipulated them. They're mine, Mark. And you know it." It was so delusional, I should have laughed. but I didn't. Because when someone says something like that, they're mine, you understand what they really mean. They don't see people. They see property. They see control. She didn't want to reconnect. She wanted to reclaim. And for the first time I realized, she wasn't just trying to hurt me. She was trying to erase the past 12 years and walk back into these kids' lives like nothing happened. As if love can be repossessed. It was Lena who finally broke the silence. She handed me a letter.
No envelope.
Just folded once, a little crumpled like she'd been carrying it around too long. We were in the kitchen. Jason was watching TV. Ethan was out working a late shift. She didn't say anything, just placed it on the counter next to my coffee and walked away. I read it 3 times before I could stand up. She wrote it when she was 18, right after her mom tried to send her a birthday message on Instagram and tagged her in a baby photo. The message said, "My beautiful girl. Can't wait to hug you again soon." Lena never responded, but she wrote this instead. "Sometimes I wonder if I look like you. I see old photos, and I can't decide if the ache I feel is longing or just anger. You left and I waited. Every day. I checked the mailbox for a note. I stared at the phone. I told myself you were coming, but it was Uncle Mark who showed up. Every time. For every game, every sickness, every nightmare, every stupid argument about curfew. You didn't just leave. You disappeared. And I wish you hadn't, because I would have forgiven almost anything if you had just tried. But you didn't. So I stopped waiting. And I'm okay now. I'm really okay. Because I wasn't unloved. I was just loved by someone else." I don't remember crying. I just remember sitting in my garage that night, engine oil still on my hands, and feeling like something old in me had finally cracked open. I had spent years wondering if I was doing the right thing, if it was okay to take her place, if the kids would one day resent me for stepping in, or for not trying harder to reconnect them with her. I never talked about it. Not to friends. Not to anyone. Just kept fixing cars and making dinner, and hoping love would be enough. But that letter, it was the permission I didn't know I needed. The next morning, I printed out every message she'd sent. Every post she wrote about me. Every lie. I saved screenshots, dated them, and filed them in a binder labeled for them, if they ever need it. Because this wasn't about winning. It was about the truth. And from that day on, I stopped apologizing for being the one who stayed. The post wasn't loud.
No rants.
No name calling. Just the truth. I wrote it at 1 a.m., sitting at the kitchen table where I used to cut their sandwiches into triangles and scribble lunchbox notes like, "Be kind today." I didn't even wake the kids. I just typed. 12 years ago, my sister left her 3 children on my doorstep and disappeared. She didn't send money. She didn't call. She didn't ask once if they were okay. I raised them the best I could, with help from each other, not from her. Everything I've done was out of love and necessity. Now, she's spreading lies online, claiming I stole them from her. I didn't. She gave them up the moment she walked away. I'm not trying to win anyone's approval, but I won't let her rewrite the truth anymore. I posted it with one photo.
Us.
Me and the kids, well, not kids anymore. Ethan tall and tired from work. Lena with paint on her jeans. Jason making that same goofy face he always made at 6. We looked like a family. Because we were. The next morning, it had over 100 shares. Most from people I didn't know. Some from people I hadn't heard from in years. Old teachers. Former neighbors. Even the pastor from our childhood church wrote, "I remember when she left. You stepped up. That counts more than blood." And then came the real gut punch. All 3 of them posted the letter. The one Lena had written. Each of them uploaded it with a single sentence. Ethan, this is our truth. Lena, he raised us. Jason, she blocked us. We blocked the lies. After that, Jessica's pages went private. Then they vanished. She blocked us all again, me, the kids, even people who had supported us publicly. Like we were the infection. But the silence that followed wasn't hollow like before. It was full. Full of people reaching out, not to gossip, but to say thank you. For telling the story they wished someone had told when it happened to them. I got messages from strangers who'd raised siblings' kids. From stepdads and foster parents. From adult children who finally cut ties. And for the first time in over a decade, I didn't feel ashamed of stepping in. I felt proud. She was gone again. Just like before. Blocked us all. Deleted the posts. Scrubbed her name from every corner of the internet she used to scream from. And just like that, the noise stopped. I thought I'd feel triumphant. Vindicated. But what I actually felt was something quieter. Something softer. Relief. Not the wild kind that comes with punching the air. More like the kind you feel when a storm finally passes, and all that's left is the hum of the fridge and your own breathing. We had dinner that Sunday. Same as usual. Jason made his terrible chili, Lena brought bread from the bakery where she worked part-time, and Ethan fixed the leaky faucet in the kitchen without being asked. We didn't talk about her. Not because we were avoiding it, but because there was nothing left to say. The kids were calm. Lighter. Even Lena, who used to flinch every time her phone buzzed, sat through the whole meal without checking her screen once. I don't think she even realized she was doing it. That night, I found the old shoebox I used to keep her letters in. Jessica's, I mean. Back when she still sent them. Most of them were written in jail or in rehab. Sloppy handwriting. Promises to get clean, to be better, to come back for the kids soon. I used to read them to myself late at night, wondering if I was in the way. If maybe I'd made it harder for her to return. I burned them in the fire pit behind the garage. Not out of spite. I just didn't need them anymore. That part of our life was done. We had grieved her already. We grieved her while she was alive, which is the cruelest kind of grief there is, because it never ends clean. It lingers. It second guesses. It lies.
But now?
Now it was over. Not because she died, but because we stopped waiting for her to be someone she never tried to be. I sat on the porch afterward, smoke still curling in the air, and realized I'm not just their uncle anymore. I never really was. I was the one who stayed, who packed lunches, who showed up to meetings, who taught Ethan how to shave, who walked Lena down the aisle at homecoming,
Who taught Jason how to drive?
I didn't steal anything. I became what was missing. The next week, I called a lawyer. Not because I wanted revenge. Not even to protect myself. I just wanted to make sure the kids, my kids, were protected, no matter what happened to me. We sat in his office, plain gray walls and a humming printer in the corner. I handed over a folder. Birth certificates, school records, pictures, the screenshots of her messages, even Lena's letter. I told him everything. He didn't say much, just listened, nodded, and said, "Let's make this official." I named Ethan, Lena, and Jason as my sole beneficiaries. I gave them full power to make medical and legal decisions if I ever couldn't. I assigned Ethan as executor of my will. Not because he's the oldest, but because he's the one who always steps up without being asked. I also left a letter in the safe.
For each of them.
Handwritten. Just in case. When I told the kids, they didn't say much. Jason looked awkward. Lena got teary and hugged me so hard my ribs hurt. Ethan said, "You didn't have to do that." But I did. Because loving someone isn't just about the big sacrifices. It's about the paperwork. The hard conversations. The decisions no one wants to think about. I had already spent 12 years putting them first in every way that counted. This was just finishing the job. And maybe part of me needed to do it because deep down, I knew that even though Jessica was silent again, she could always come back. People like her don't stay gone. They just circle until they see another angle. Another opportunity. Another opening to twist something good into a weapon. I wasn't going to let that happen. She could say what she wanted. Online. In whispers. To whoever still wanted to believe her. But legally? Financially? Emotionally? She had no place here. This wasn't about keeping her out. It was about keeping us safe. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't reacting to her. I was choosing us. Life didn't change all at once. There was no dramatic closure, no courtroom scene, no apology that tied everything in a neat bow. Just small things. The kind that sneak up on you. Lena's art got accepted into a regional exhibit. She didn't tell me until the night before, like it was no big deal. When I showed up, she had a name tag pinned on crooked and looked like she was trying not to cry. Her piece was called Unchosen Father. It was a portrait of hands, mine, I think, covered in grease and holding a cracked mug with the words, "World's okayest dad." It made people laugh. It made me sit down for a while. Jason finally passed his driving test. I taught him in the same truck I've driven for 20 years. He floored it on every turn, braked too hard, and still managed to pass on the second try. The first thing he said after getting his license? "You're never getting your keys back." Ethan paid for dinner one night. No fuss, no argument. Just slipped his card to the waitress before I could even reach for my wallet. He said, "You've done enough." And maybe I had. Maybe that was the whole point. Jessica stayed gone. No posts. No messages. The cousins who once shared her lies quietly faded away. Some even messaged me apologies. I didn't respond. Not out of spite. Just because I didn't need anything from them anymore. One afternoon, I opened the binder, the one with the screenshots, the lies, the evidence. I looked at it for a while, then closed it and tucked it in the back of the closet. Not everything needs to be burned to be let go. That night, we had dinner again. Our usual Sunday routine. I grilled chicken on the porch, while Ethan argued with Jason about fantasy football, and Lena sat on the step, sketching quietly. The sun was low. The air smelled like charcoal and cut grass. No one talked about her. We didn't need to. We haven't heard from her in over a year now. Not a message. Not a rumor. Not even one of those passive-aggressive "some people don't deserve forgiveness" posts she used to throw into the void. Nothing. She's gone again. And this time, we didn't notice right away. That's how you know you've healed, when their absence feels like peace instead of tension. People ask me sometimes if I'd let her back in if she changed. If she got clean, got help. If she came to the door crying, asking for forgiveness. And I always say the same thing. I forgave her a long time ago. But forgiveness doesn't mean access. Forgiveness doesn't rebuild trust. And forgiveness doesn't erase the years we survived without her. Because we did survive. We made our own holidays, our own rules, our own inside jokes and traditions. I still make Jason that awful box mac and cheese he swears tastes better when I burn it. Lena still draws on napkins when she's bored and leaves them on the fridge. Ethan still texts me, "Home soon," like he's 13 again and forgot his key. They still call me Uncle Mark sometimes. Sometimes Dad. Sometimes just Mark. I don't care what name they use. What matters is they chose to stay. She didn't. And no matter what story she tells next, nothing changes the truth. She blocked us again.
Let it stay that way.